Welcome to Voodoo Within, where race, gender, or political affiliation won't matter. Because we are all born with magic. Existence is magic. With the proper education, you'll unlock your true potential. Ignorance cannot thrive in the light of consciousness.
Yucahu, Agaou, Yucahu, Agaou. Buddha Bajam fâché côté de Chita, Ate, Lengulin Baganaba, Yucahu, Agaou, Yucahu, Agaou, Yucahu, Agaou, Yucahu.
Peace and blessings. This is Mambo Hougan, aka the Voodoo Diva, and we are back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the energy of Agaou. All right, so stay tuned and get this info as we break it down. Now, when we look at origins, the original name of Agaou in the Arawak Taino terminology is Yucahu, the god of the sky, thunder, and lightning. Okay, again, that was always used for crops. Now, let's look at the term itself. When we break down Agaou as a term, you first have the term Aga, which coming from Haga in Hebrew, which means to speak or to growl. Okay, when the heavens have spoken down to the wicked. All right, now let's look at the other side of the term, which is oo. Now we know oo is a war sound. I'll give you an example. Ah-oo. And then ah-oo was said like that. That has been used for a very, very long time, since ancient times with African warriors, in modern day with the American military when they're getting ready for war, for battle. You even have when a person gets punched, they go ooh, because from the diaphragm. Then you also have even in football, when somebody gets knocked out, or just any sports really, when you think about it, the crowd will scream, ooh. So, ooh, all of it is there, all of it unifies with one another. Now let's take a look at the power of the elements when we look at the origins. Of course, all origins date back to what? Nature. So when we look at nature, let's look at the unification of the 5 elements when we talk about Agaou as an energy form as it pertains to the strong nature, okay? Now, in the strong nature, first off in the element, we look at rain, okay? Rain is what? Water. We look at lightning, that is fire. We look at the wind, that is air. We look at earthquakes, which of course that's the shaking of the earth. We look at the thunder, which gives us the sound, your 5 elements. When you really look at it, Agaou is a completion of all of the unifications of these elements to come and give you this very powerful spirit, this very powerful energy. It's all the combining of nature's elements. Now, also, when we take a look through ancient history and even into present day, really, since AYITI happens to be located in the middle of the earth, this is one of the areas that it can harness the energy better than pretty much anywhere else on earth. So it is a very sacred energy with the roots of this Arawak Taino base, and where it's located has a lot to do with how that energy manifests within that habitation. Get into the characteristics of this powerful defense law. Now let's look at the colors. The colors of Agaou symbolizes the 3 different rites within Voodoo, Indigenous Voodoo, Haitian Voodoo. First off, we look at the color white. White is the gede. Okay, we know gede are good for the communication, etc., which also really represent earth. Then you go into the red, which is the pitwo, meaning that fire, that energy to push forward through everything and burn down things that need to be burnt. Now we also go into the blue, light blue particularly, which deals with the Rada energy. Okay, the Rada, the water, the air as well. Okay, now when we take a look at the environment, The environment, things like mountains high up there, energies that have anywhere with vegetation, large amounts of vegetation. You look at anything with large bodies of water, like the ocean, your lakes, your waterfalls, the rivers, etc. You look at all of those areas, and of course trees, big trees, i.e. energies like Piemapu, the Mapu tree. All of these areas are environments where this energy can habitate, because again, it's so tied in with nature. Okay, it's a manifestation of nature. Now, let's go into the different kind of versions, we want to say, of Agaou. First off, we have Agaou tonnerre. Tonnerre means thunder in Haitian Creole, of course. Now, we also can look at Agaou zekle. Zekle means Agaou of the lightning. Okay, of course, thunder, lightning. Now we go into Agaou wedo, or as we really know it, what it really should be, Agaou wedlo, okay? Agaou sees the water, okay? Or Agaou of the water, all right? Which deals, again, the water element that we talked about. Now we also have another one, which is called Agaou sans sang. Now Agaou sans sang means Agaou without blood, okay, in the term. Now this energy, I want to break down. There's a lot going on here, because this is when Agau's energy goes into beast mode. It manifests itself in a physical form as a werewolf with wings, okay? In modern day, that would be looked at as a gargoyle, if you will. But now when we go deeper into this, this would also be said as the term of Yúcahu, okay, in the Creole terminology. Now you look at the word Yúcahu, Agaou is in the word Yúcahu. So there you go. Now what all this means is that it's the energy truly of the shape-shifting. Okay, shape-shifting, or also can also be called dédoubler, basically means that this energy now is about to give its manifestation form that it needs to in order to do whatever it's come to do, the work it has to do. In this sense, this actually appears more in the dream world. Okay, this Agaou Sansan energy we're talking about, it's not so much more of a physical entity. It's more an energy that comes in your dream world to mess up and attack the psyche. Okay, when it attacks the psyche, this is what causes mass amounts of hallucinations. Okay, now let me explain this a little more to you. In AYITI, when a Yúcahu vole, or flies, if you will, and the leak of radiation from the Yúcahu flying, because again, this is one energy that's now merging to come into another dimension. It's like dimensionals meeting, if you will, and the high level of radiation that can cause, people from the area, when that energy is manifesting in that way, can get what we call coutelet. Now the coutelet basically just means getting an air or a leak of the radiation within the area, which could be higher than what people are used to. When that happens, and even in ancient times, probably even until today, what would end up happening is that they would have to take a hawk, okay, or malfini, which means malfini, by the way, means the evil or the bad energy or the bad omens must end. Okay, malfini, which means finishing bad. When that happens, what ended up happening as ways to heal or to offset that energy, because a lot of people used to think it was, you know, a negative thing, or it could mean bad omen, because of course people could get sick from the leak radiation, as we spoke of. What they would do a lot of times would be to burn the feathers, okay, to be able to use that in ritual to help with anybody that had taken on that exposure. But to go farther, to keep that particular energy from coming near their area or their homes, and in the travels that it would do, would be to actually kill a hawk, okay, turn the hawk upside down, hang it up at the front of the door in order to make sure it could offset or to keep that kind of energy away. Okay, now even to go farther, if children ever got sick also from the leaking of the radiation, hawks would also be used to bathe them, so that, you know, the hawk would be passed around on them, similar to what happens in rituals with like chickens. You know, a lot of times when the chicken's dead, you're putting it everywhere to remove negative energy. Similar, but in ancient times it was more the power of the hawk that would take place. All right. Now, if you look in modern day times, as things become, of course, more modernized, right, you can look at the dream catcher as a sense. The dream catchers usually always have hawk feathers along by other different little trinkets and whatnot, symbols and everything. And it's also said to keep it at the door or close to where it is that in your bedroom where you dream at, of course, i.e. dream catcher. Now, all of this comes from native, indigenous, Taino, Arawak, okay? Native tribes and native traditions. So it all makes sense when you really look at it, okay? Also, to even go a step farther, when we go into some history, I'm gonna bust the history on you real quick. This energy was an energy that was activated very strongly during the Haitian Revolution. Why? Because French soldiers would be afraid to sleep because they would bear the thought of seeing the torment dealing with this energy. So basically, hallucinations are taking place. They feel like every time they go to sleep, they're seeing this thing that's running after them, flying over to come get them, whatever the case. And that would drive those spiritual psyche attacks to the point where either they were shooting their other soldier comrades or even shooting themselves because they felt that's a way to get rid of what it was. It's about driving you absolutely insane through the hallucinations. So that's another function about how that energy, when Agaou goes into the sun energy, what can happen and the type of things that can take place. All of it happens for most of the dream world to attack the psyche, okay? So to add to mention, during the revolution as well, Agaou Wedlo, different aspects of course, with Agaou Wedlo, he basically sank ships. Okay, they couldn't reach to where they were going. Not with that. You also had Agaou Zekle, which dealt with the lightning, which of course was striking down them ships as well and destroying them at sea. You had the raging of the wind going on at the same time helping, and also the energy of that thunder. The thunder that was going on made them fear, made them know that God and divinely presence was there. Okay, so all of these aspects contributed to the energy of winning the revolution. Agaou played a major role from the sea to the air, back again, okay, when it came down to it. And hallucinating the dream world, and so both in the physical and in the dream worlds, Agou's energy was very, very prevalent during the revolutionary times. So when we go into Agou's energy, continuing on with the characteristics, let's look at it from a standpoint of humans. What type of energy does that attract, if you will? Well, first off, you have to have this pure character. It has to be more of an energy of innocence, being pure in heart. Because remember, there's a very serious, angelic, godly presence when you think of the energy of Agaou. So basically, to deal with an energy like Agaou, one must be, whether it be a Hougan or Mambo and AYITI, whatever the case may be, that has to be a very strong leader, an energy that has mastered the elements. We're talking about on the airbender type level here, okay? One energy I can give you an example of would be Vixama. His ultimate act of sacrifice was something that let you know that he went above and beyond and mastered all that there needed to be, in a sense, to be able to sacrifice himself for the greater good of humanity. Okay, for ages and generations to come. That's one aspect. Also, let's take a look at an example of things that kind of give you indications. First off, if someone really is truly connected, for example, if they're upset, then all of a sudden it just starts raining a lot, real heavy, you know what I mean? Thunder starts all of a sudden. You know, that's a raw form of that energy expressing itself. All right. And, you know, sometimes again, too, a person can be walking somewhere or they just tend to get somewhere and then rain always follows them, if you will. OK, that's another huge sign as well. You also have the fact that in extreme aggression, when there's a lot of anger and a lot of forceful energy going on, lightning will strike. You know what I mean? In accompanying with the thunder, it'll be a whole vibe. Sometimes the wind also will pick up in the area where that person may be as well. So when a person carries around an innocent energy and they happen to also live within the habitation and the environment of styles, this is where you can see where Agaou can more so come in and express itself. The Loa can express itself. All right. Now, I want to go into the whole function of this whole, you know, church and saint image that deals with the whole ST.MICHELLE archangel function. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this because when in Haitian voodoo, as we know, a lot of it still has very heavy presence with this Catholic image, of how it's been done for quite some time. Slowly but surely this is changing. So, okay. The reason why it's important is because you'll usually see that when they put the pictures of the images one next to the other, you will mostly see the energy of Baon Criminel, you will see the energy of L'Englesu, and you will see the energy of Agaou. Okay? Now, in biblical reference, let me break it down. This is the thing. These lois, when they come together, basically are loi of vengeance. Okay, and I'm going to give you now in a biblical reference how they even show it to you. Peep game. So first off, in the whole story with Jesus, right? Jesus basically was condemned because instead of them choosing Jesus to be the man that was innocent, they chose Barabbas, who was a rapist. Okay, so basically the court system or the system of people, okay, with their hate in their hearts, etc., betrayed him. Okay, its system failed him. So you know he became what? Criminalized. And becoming criminalized, this is where the Baon Criminel energy got activated. Okay, now when you go deeper into the story, what happened? They pinned him on a cross to be killed. And pinning him on the cross, of course, by the time they did that, the next thing that took place was what? He was stabbed in the heart at the cross. That right there is giving you the L'Englesu function because of the blood, the stabbing of the heart, the betrayal that begotten from it. And again, energy of vengeance now, because this energy no longer has its innocence. Things now have changed because it's been unjustly dealt with. Another aspect to really seal it is when we go into Agaou. With Agaou, because he was killed at the cross. The cross serves as what we call an antenna. The antenna has been for eons a way that conducting of lightning can hit. Okay, so when you take a look even in modern day with churches and cathedrals from ancient times all the way up until now, if you ever pay attention, there's always gonna be that antenna at the top to harness that kind of energy. Okay, so again, this is how they became an energy of vengeance, if you will. Okay, so him dying at the cross, the way he died with using the cross as even a way to stake him up there. And then towards the end, Agau's energy deals with what? It's like a godlike angelic form of energy. So guess what? Then all of a sudden they tell you God was upset and mad at what humanity had done with the innocence and purity he sent down to help them. What happened? Sky opens up, the heavens opens up, the roaring, the raging, the wind, the thunder, the lightning, the earth shaking probably even. We're talking about the whole embodiment of Agaou takes place from that action. So basically it's a beautiful story to pretty much show you how his energy, or the energy period, the Loa, can manifest itself, okay? The unification, once again, of the elements. Now, let me explain really quickly when I say the word or term escort so you understand. Escorts is basically a chain of energy where if one Loa shows up or one energy shows up, it causes a chain reaction for others to energy to come in and follow. All right, so again, hence where you get the chain reaction energy from. Now, to top it off, I want to show you another aspect also of Agaou. Agaou also has another side, okay, which that is the side when it's being run and governed by the sea. Now, his escorts, okay, if you want to even call them friends in a sense, that will come along when he's in that format, or in that format would be Agwe. You have the energy of Simbi. The Simbis, altogether, the Simbis are very vast as well. You'd have the energy of Sopo. You'd have the energy of Bade. You have all of that energy present when the water is involved, the ocean is involved, and we just discussed that. Why? Because again, ships, the lightning is hitting, water, the water is raging, the wind is going, the thunder is going. It's a whole event to make sure whatever has to happen is going to happen, and what's not supposed to happen won't happen either. So again, all of the energy with the passage of the sea. All right, Agaou then goes into being that character or that energy. So there are two different sides to the Agaou energy, okay? And I'm going to also explain this to you as well. This energy is an energy that mounts people, and many say is very, well, when it rarely does, I should say. When it does happen, people Hougan, Mambo, or whoever and however the Schwal usually are very afraid and fear and tell you that it's violent for this main reason. The fact of the matter is that most of the time, if and when this ever does happen for, the possession to take place, the loi, that energy will come so loud that the voice will become mute after the possession, meaning the voice is so loud there is no voice, to now where that particular person's body that was used, the shwal, it becomes mute. And if that shwal was doing things that were not proper before such, then of course there can be repercussions where sometimes a life may be taken, or there can be sickness that happens for a certain amount of days from, again, the forceful, powerful energy. We're talking about godlike energy here, people. We're talking about angelic energy. We're talking about strong, powerful nature forces here, okay? Defense law type of energy. It's not to be messed with. So a lot of times when you see Mambos and Hougans always tell you they fear this energy, they don't want to call this energy, it's not energy anybody should call either. We're going to talk about him, but we don't know if we're going to actually deal with him. There is a reason behind it. It's because many people fear, they don't want to be the one that will be without a voice, or even at times even without a life, if you will, by wrongdoings previous, if there've been naughty business going on or impurities going on with how business has been handled, okay, with others, all right, innocent people that they bring to them for whatever, then yeah, repercussions definitely can take place. So let's not forget that most Hougan and Mambo do not want to call on this energy, or they can't really, because they don't want to mess up their habitation, their spiritual house. The thing is, a lot of times in real time as we speak, many Hougans and Mambos are dealing dirty and shady out here in these spiritual streets. What I mean by that is, for example, turning families against one another, being paid to say this one is doing something when reality is not even true, or naming names to pit them against each other. For example, sending money over and accepting the money to kill an innocent child just because that child may be due to something or ownership of something, so they want them out of the picture, okay? Turning brothers and sisters against one another for who got what in the family. We talking about scamming people, saying they're going to do one thing and do another, saying they're going to give them, spiritual abilities or help them within their spiritual journey even, and then really don't end up doing a damn thing, but actually trying to take away from the person's essence and energy instead of help them. So there are so many different things we're talking about when women go and say, hey, I want to break this family up because I want this dude to be mine, doing that domination type of love work, thinking that's what's going to help them, when really it's just a facade. But instead of turning that kind of thing away and trying to really be righteous, okay, within the works, what they do is the complete opposite. They put the money over the morality. And this is the reason why they so scared to call on the homie Agaou, because Agaou be done messed around and they trying to call that energy and cause a flood up in their whole area. Just make their whole thing go down the hill, okay? Have the wind going, the rain pouring. We talking about lightning hitting fools, their cars, or even them themselves, because of the dishonesty, okay? Because of the scamming, because of the lack of integrity. All right, to not only the law, but you dang on sure not to coming stupid with Agaou, because again, we said this is godly energy we're talking about here. We're talking about nature in its purest form, unified. All right, so yeah, this is a big reason. And so also, again, as I said, when you see that those that do, if that ever does happen, the rarity of if it does happen, go quiet or go mute. Again, this is where the whole thing about being feared, being feel that the energy is violent, being feared is like, yo, don't mess with this energy. Because again, most is not living right. They have not mastered their elements. They have not done their airbender work, if you will, and they operate out of a place of greed and not integrity. So when we look into pop culture, of course, there are movies and all kinds of stuff. One of the big ones, of course, is the movie that deals with Thor, okay? We're talking about the energy of Zeus, slash Odin, if you will. That gives you the whole energy, has the ability to shapeshift into a hawk. We already talked about that hawk energy, that Heru energy, but also the fact that the hawk is a big representation of Agaou and flight. All right, so of course, that energy of Zeus, what does it have? It comes as the god, and it has the thunder and the lightning and all of these things that constitute Agau's energy. You also have in Egypt, when you look at the 4 sons of Heru, it's actually representation of the 4 elements. We know that there are 5 as well, but just in the 4 main, and sound encompasses all of it. Now, also, of course, we talked about that as well with ST.MICHELLE and the whole energy of the archangel with the sword in the left hand and the pose a certain way to be able to say it's killing off the devil, it's killing off the evil, and that whole thing. Of course, we know time and time again in the Bible, God is always seen as he's going to give you the wrath of God with nothing but the thunder, the lightning striking, the earth shaking, the wind blowing, and all of that stuff encompassed in between. When we go into Thor, of course, we know Thor in Asgard, and Asgard even has the Aga in there as well. And of course, that pantheon tells you all about that. It's the thunder, it's the lightning, comes in the form of ready to go, and God is, and Zeus is the one giving it its power to be able to go on and do what he does as Thor. So yeah, it keeps going on and on. Also in the video game, a beautiful video game that I actually really love, which is called God of War, okay, aka the God of Vengeance, Kratos deals and retrieves all of his elements throughout the video game. He had all the elements by the time it was said and done, which is our fire, the swording, the lightning, the thunder coming in when he got the wind blowing, and the whole 9. So all of the expressions of it come together, where again, he's coming to deal with the vengeance aspect of things, but needs the elements together in order to reach his destination and get it done. So all in all, pop culture, everywhere we go, okay, nature is abundant and it is around us at all times. So we can never forget that really, when we look at Agaou, we really are looking at the essence of nature itself. Okay, in a very powerful way though, in a very strong, aggressive, and symbolic kind of way, okay? So while still in pop culture, one of the things I wanted you to pay attention to is in the season of Easter in AYITI, one of the cool things that always used to go down was that kites used to be put up in representation of the season, if you will, of Easter and children at play and things of that nature. However, in Catholicism, that's what it shows. But on the other side, those that dealt with voodoo, if you know, you know. You understand what I'm saying? Also, it was a time where heavy season of travel would happen at sea because of all the wind that was able to push through, etc. Now, another thing I want you to take a look at and observe is that in Catholicism, sadly, the mixture has been done so much, they would tell you during Easter to cover with a white cloth your voodoo tables and not to partake in anything with that and whatnot. But it's because they know it's such an important time where you actually should be working your magic that they reverse it and make you think not to, so that they can harness all the energy for themselves, because they surely do what? Their masses, their church events, their everything goes down, but they want, you know, the other side not to do it, if you will. But it's just interesting how that takes place as well. And then even when we go into a very famous song for this Agaou energy, it's so real to what we talked about earlier in the energy of Mambos and Hougans and all of the crazy stuff going on with, you know, no truthfulness in it and money over morality, that the song says that there's no more good law, and that the no more good law is basically, again, like a, how can we say, a proverb for saying there's no more good people. Because if those people are the ones saying that they have law, but then they're doing all of these nasty, shady things, then sheesh, there must not be any more good law, if you will, in that regard. And basically all that they're doing is serving up for politic, okay, politicking of their pockets, if you will. So there's the famous song that a lot of the voodooists will know, a lot of people really will know, and actually I'll even post it down so you get a vibe with the energy of that music. But honestly, in the end, it really says that, and it's, you know, it's real. They're talking from a candid place, if you will, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, the energy of Agaou really does deal with a heavy amount of truth and rights and justice. Yes, it does make you think of the Agaou energy, but we told you the tie on that anyway, of that Hebrew / Agaou / different manifestations of it. Okay, so to continue on with the energy of my personal experience. In personal experience, basically when I have dreams, I saw myself flying a lot, having that real bird-like airbound energy, so I know that was a presence of him. Also, when the energy happened and the root house had gotten damaged and things happened to the root house way back when, we ended up going there, and when we were installing and placing the loi in the said areas of the new place that had been built, it was so deep that, there was a lot of rain, there was a lot of wind, there was even thunder, we knew that was that Agaou energy presenting itself as well. Even inside, when we were actually putting up certain images and different things in there, water came, we're talking about on a hot day, water came in, not seeping in from a leak, but water from the wall itself came out in kind of this sense of purity, or this sense of letting us know the element was very strong and with us. Also, we also did a whole other vibe with visiting some other Ugans, right, within the area. And during a time frame when we had to go and talk to them and deal with different things, when the spirit came through on one of these Ugan, they basically told us that all of the rain that was going on from us leaving where we were at our temple to get to over where we were going was them giving us a sign of honoring, and they call that Oshan, so an honoring element to salute us, if you will, and let us know that they were happy that we were coming. They were happy that we were in the area doing what we were doing. So all in all, I know the Agaou energy is very strong. It's powerful. The energy is serious, and it is a very natural but yet strong and powerful type of vibration. With that said, at Kai P4, we will definitely be having a service to honor this great, powerful energy, and the details will definitely be below in the description box. So definitely make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you are getting in where you fit in with that, and if there's any other details, of course, everything will be in the detailed description box. Peace and blessings until a next video of the Loa, Ai, Bobo, Agaou, and all of the different elements that are within it.